Hello, welcome to Story Circles. Have you ever wondered how crab got its heart back? Here's a creation story that comes to us from Jamaica, out of West Africa, and it is an age old story, a folk tale, telling us exactly how that happened. Let's read and listen to how Crab got his heart back.
Long, long ago, there was a witch whose true name no one knew. People called her Miss Alba, and they said she was mean. Miss Alba lived in a big old house, but she had no family. As her children, she kept creatures, rooster, rabbit, and crab. These children knew her true name, but she had sworn them to secrecy. And just to be sure, one afternoon she gathered them under the silk cotton tree in her yard. She stood leaning against her long crooked stick cut from a mahogany tree. In one hand she held half a calabash filled with mystery water. She fixed her eyes on them and chanted, "Sprinkle, sprinkle, now promise me, my name always will your secret be." The old witch splashed their heads with drops of her calabash water, and the children never spoke her name. Every morning and every evening, Miss Alba opened her green velvet purse and counted her gold coins. Her tiny eyes would brighten, and in a dry, scratchy voice she uttered proud, gleeful words. "Didn't lose a coin, I didn't. She cleaned and cooked and washed by the brook, and I kept my gold all hidden." She would send out her messengers, Crow and Tituba the cat, to get a girl from the village to cook and do all her chores. The girl had to work for a week. At the end of the week, she'd have 3 chances to guess the witch's real name. If she succeeded, she'd get half of all her jewelry and half the gold in the purse. One after the other, village girls came to work for Miss Alba. Each went away without guessing her name. Then a girl from the nearby town came. She washed the clothes down by the stream, cleaned the floors, and cooked the food. As she worked, the old woman croaked, "See that there, you Mr. Spot. Done the floor, go clean my pot." At the end of the week, the girl tried to guess the old woman's real name. She called all the witch names she could think of. "Is it Cordelia?" she asked. "No," the witch said. The girl grew worried that she'd be unable to give the correct answer. "Millicent?" "No," the old woman's black eyes glittered. The girl felt that the witch had won. Hot tears dropped from her eyes, but she tried anyway. "Hermione?" With triumph on her face, Miss Alba caught her tears in a magic calabash and screeched, "Off you go, nothing for you. Bring me now a girl that's new." And in this way the old woman got her work done and cunningly saved her money. But there came a time when she could no longer find anyone willing to work for her. The house became dirtier, and the clothes for washing piled up. The old woman sent her messengers far and wide, hoping to entice a girl from a different community. One day, Anansi the spider heard Crow calling the news from tree to tree. He was intrigued because he was down on his luck and needed money to feed his wife and children. Confident that he could find out Miss Alba's true name, Anansi decided to disguise himself as a girl. That Monday, he put on a pretty pink dress with a pattern of little white flowers, and a broad hat with lacy white ribbons, and a pair of shoes with high heels, but not very high, because he was afraid of toppling over. Then he went to the old woman's home. When the witch opened her door to Anansi dressed as a girl, she was pleased and stated her conditions for payment. Anansi set to work immediately. Grabbing the basket of clothes, he went down to the stream. There he noticed Crab scuttling across a rock. He knew Crab was one of Miss Alba's children. He thought to himself, he must know her real name. I will find a way to make him tell me. Oh, what a handsome gentleman, said Anansi in his sweetest, most lilting voice. Crab stopped to talk. No one had ever called him handsome in his entire life. He said, "You like how I look, girl?" "Yes, sir." Anansi smiled at Crab with bright eyes, just like a shy girl would. "You move about so quickly. I bet you've seen all of this island." Crab was flattered by this open admiration. "Well," he replied, "I have travelled around a great deal." Anansi's eyes fluttered. "You look like a smart, sensible girl," Crab said. "I like you." "Oh, sir, I like you too." Anansi smiled even more brightly than before. "If I ever get into trouble, would you help me?" "Of course," Crab said. "If you ever have a problem that I can help you with, don't hesitate to ask for my help." "Thank you, sir, from the bottom of my heart," replied Anansi. "I must go now. We probably won't see each other again, but I'll always remember meeting you and your kind promise." "I never break a promise I make. That would be dishonourable," Crab declared. "But I do hope we meet again, my beautiful lady." "Well, we may," said Anansi, and he tottered slowly away on his high heels, concealing his delight at fooling Crab. Saturday came. It had been a long, difficult week for Anansi. Miss Alba said, "It's time for you to guess my name. You have 3 chances." "Only 3?" Anansi exclaimed. "Please give me an hour. Let me think." He went down to the stream, splashed water on his face, sat down, and pretended to cry. Poor me, girl, he said, and he whimpered a bit. When Crab heard the sobbing, he emerged from the hole in which he lived. He saw the pink dress and the hat with white ribbons that fluttered in the light breeze, and he went up to the bank. Seeing him, Anansi whispered, "Poor me, girl." He asked, "What's wrong, girl? Why are you crying?" Anansi looked up at Crab with big, teary eyes and said, "Sir, I've worked all week for the old woman who lives in the big house, but she won't pay me if I can't guess her true name." Enchanted by the sweet voice and tears that sparkled in the sunlight, Crab didn't pause to think about his vow to Miss Alba. "Don't be troubled by such a little thing. That old woman is my mother. I know her name." "Please, sir, please help me," I am a man of my word. I promised to help you. Crab drew close to Anansi's ear and whispered the old woman's true name. Anansi's plan had worked. With not even a show of gratitude, he at once returned to face the old woman. The woman smiled like someone claiming her share of a treasure. "Well," she said, enjoying the moment, "what is my name?" Crocrow and Tituba looked on, old spectators to the witch's game. Rooster and Rabbit came closer, and Crab, curious about what would happen, scurried up to the house and joined the group. Anansi played along. "Is your name Lacovia? Mother Lacovia?" The witch smiled and shrieked, "Wrong, wrong, you don't know. Guess again or off you go." Crab's heart fell. The girl he had admired now had a low, rough voice. In this light she looked a lot hairier too. "Well then, is it Mother Lucia?" Anansi's face looked half hopeful, but also half amused. The woman cackled and yelled, "Wrong, wrong, you'll never guess. My gold, my wealth, you'll never possess." Anansi bellowed, "Your name is Cantony, old Mother Cantony. Pay up now, old Mother Cantony." The old woman fainted in shock. Rabbit, Rooster, and Crab helped her revive. With little energy, she delivered all that she had promised to Anansi. The trickster stood at the door, his arms around his new possessions, and he shouted in glee, "Mother Cantony, meet me. I am Brer Anansi." And with that farewell, he darted home. Livid with anger, Mother Cantony turned to her children, her eyes fastened onto the three. "He called me Cantony. I am Alba, you are Alba, so who said Cantony?" She glared at Rabbit. "Did you tell Anansi my name?" Rabbit stared back at her. "I did not," he replied. She glared at Rooster. "Did you tell Anansi my name?" Rooster stared back at her. "No, I did not," he replied. Then she stepped closer to Crab. "Did you tell Anansi my name?" Crab could not lift his eyes to look at her. It was no use running. Swift as a bolt of lightning, Mother Cantony whacked his back with her calabash of thick tears. And there it stayed. And so it is that crabs have a hard shell today. Blame it on Anansi.